Welcome to the Investor Coaching Show. Here's your host, Paul Winkler.
Paul Winkler, Ira Work, Arlene Brown. This is the Investor Coaching Show. Just to think we used to do that. The commercial? How much you saw? We used to do that kind of stuff. Sad. Oh my goodness. Anyway, moving right along. Yeah, exactly. Well, that was a bunch of wasted money. So anyway, did you guys see, speaking of wasted money, there was an article in Market Watch. So we're coming up on the Super Bowl. And what was it? The AFC or is it the NFC that is supposed to... Isn't it the AFC that's supposed to win?
NFC.
And if they win...
I think
is the NFC? I can't remember.
It's the
NFC.
NFC.
Yeah.
Is it NFC?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
If the NFC
And who's
wins,
NFC
then
this
the
year?
market's going to
Which
go up.
team's NFC? I have,
Bengals. Is it the Bengals?
what? They're not even in the
no
Super Bowl.
clue.
AFC is Kansas.
It's the Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs.
It's thanks Leviticus. We're
That's
not.
what we're
I'm not
rooting for,
asking.
the Chiefs.
Don't ask Arlene anything about football.
It's okay.
She doesn't even suspect anything, let alone have a clue. So no, yeah, she does have a clue. CLU. You're a Charlie Lifeliner. Are you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
Chiefs
it's
versus
a
the
designation.
Eagles.
Inside joke. Okay, so the NFC. If the NFC wins, then the stock market was supposed to go up.
Right.
If the AFC, then it wasn't supposed. So that was a good case of data mining.
What?
Oh, yeah. That's an old thing. It's just like butter production in Bangladesh. If you wanted to find out what the S&P 500 was going to do, is it going to go up, down, sideways, whatever, you looked at butter production in Bangladesh. This is what people that are statisticians do when they're bored. They go look for relationships between things that are absolutely absurd. Now, typically what they'll do, they'll find something that doesn't seem absurd, like demographic trends, like Harry Dent.
Right.
You know, we're going to go find a trend. Hey, you know what? Nick, have you ever heard me talk about demographic trends? Okay, you got to hear this. So basically what this guy does, he says, hey, people spend a lot of money when they're around 26, 27, 28 years old because they buy their first house. They also spend a lot of money between the ages of 43 and 46. And we can know when people were born, right? Because we can look back at history and we can look at birthing peaks. So they look at the birthing peak that happened right after World War II and the one that happened right after the Korean War because, you know, the guys are coming home and they get busy. And then they have a bunch of babies. And then what they did is he took 43 and 46 years, and he also did the 25, 26, something like that. And he took those two stats and he took the S&P 500. And what he did is he took these birthing peaks, and you can imagine two bubbles, right? 1946, big birthing peak, 1952, somewhere in there, another nice big birthing peak. And he took that bubble and he moved it over 43 to 46 years. Then he laid it on top of a chart of the S&P 500. And lo and behold, you had the two birthing peaks, you know, two mountain goes up, mountain goes, and they lined up. And he goes, oh my goodness, this is what drives the stock market. People spend lots of money and it causes companies to have more profits and their stock goes up. And then the spending starts to wane a little bit, you know, because they get older. But then you got another birthing peak of those people hitting between age 43 and 46. And voila, we got another spending bubble, which causes the stock market to go up a second bubble. You got two bubbles in a row and it matches with the S&P 500. And we have a way of predicting where the stock market's going to go. And, oh, by the way, we can put together a workshop explaining this whole concept and charge investment advisors $16,000 or something like that to actually present this workshop. And you can sell a boatload of mutual funds, not the least of which is the mutual fund called the AIM Dent Demographic Fund, which is based on all these concepts, right? Mm-hmm. Then people invest in the AIM Demographic Fund. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but I want to tell you they went down like 80%.
The commission was high, though.
Yeah, well, the commission was high, but you know the returns were even higher on the negative side.
They were dismal.
I mean, like negative 80% return.
Oh, yeah, they closed that fund down.
And it was gone. And it's gone. The fund just disappears.
But in his book, that he came out with in 1997.
1999, I think.
Well, yeah, it became really,
Which
really
book? The one that said the market was going to go up, or the one that he wrote that said the market was going to go down?
The Great Boom Ahead.
The Great Boom Ahead.
Great
The one
Boom
where he
Ahead.
said the market was going to go up. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I used to give AIM.
Yeah.
Actually, AIM. I shared the story on Thursday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. AIM used to send me those books by the cases. I was a top producer for AIM.
Were you really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a top producer for AIM. Anyway.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So they would send me cases of that book.
Yeah.
And I would, tell the people, tell investors, what the book taught. And, and like one of the concepts that it taught was we can tell based by the birth when potato chip sales would peak,
Right.
by when kids would become teenagers when they eat a lot of junk food.
Absolutely.
So therefore, we'll know when to buy like Frito-Lay.
And motorcycles.
Right.
Yeah, and you got motorcycles. If you get a midlife crisis and you're going to buy a motorcycle, we know when those are going to peak as well.
But when you're reading the book, it's like it's compelling.
Well, that's what
It
I
is
mean.
very compelling.
Yeah,
Compelling.
Arlene.
It's like,
That's why he had like
yeah,
8
yeah,
best-selling
I think-
books. I mean, he's a great writer. And if you're not
because that's what fools people.
right, if you're not knowledgeable, you think this is a way of investing.
When did he write the
Crash?
the demographics? Was that 2011?
The demographics fund that book that was written in the late 90s.
It's still
Yeah,
in
I
the-
actually
still in-
remember
okay.
being introduced to it in
I think
99, and it was just
Okay.
before that
He has so
fund
many books that it's hard
over the next
to,
3 years went down like 80%. It was just before that, and that's when because I remember going, whoa, wait a minute, we got this academic stuff, and then we got this stuff, and this seemed to make sense. But I was like, no. I'm going with the academic stuff because I think that that this is probably just data mining. And I was
okay,
introduced
so
to the
in the
concept.
mid-90s, he came out with The Great Boom Ahead.
Yeah.
Then in 2000 and in 1999, he came out with The Roaring 2000s.
Okay, and now I'm going to guess. Can I guess before you tell me the next book? Can I guess that it was around 2002?
Nope,
2003?
2009.
What? No. I don't
don't
mean
have
when it
all-
was going to crash.
I don't have all of his books. I just have a
Remember he
handful.
was going to talk about the Great Depression ahead or
The
something.
Great
like that.
Depression ahead was 2009.
Yeah.
How to
Are you
prosper-
serious? He waited that long?
How to prosper in the debt crisis of 2010 to 2012.
Yeah.
New York Times bestseller, big
Okay.
gold ribbon on it.
I thought it was
Then
earlier than that.
2011 was the great crash ahead. Markets continue to go up.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
2014,
well, not yet.
the demographic cliff. How to survive and prosper during the great deflation ahead.
Mm-hmm.
This market continues to go up. The sale of a lifetime, 2017. Well,
The sale of a lifetime.
how the great bubble.
What was that about
burst.
his book sales?
How the great bubble burst of 2017 to 2019 can make you rich.
Yeah.
Well, didn't really happen.
Well, there was a whole lot of bubble bursting going on when people bought those funds that they were
yeah.
out there marketing. Yeah, it was horrible. So this one is the 7-year curse. If you're thinking of investing in certain Super Bowl advertisers, be forewarned. Want a sure thing on the Super Bowl? Boy, do I have a proposition for you. I'm not talking about one of the wild prop bets on this year's games where you can wager from a coin toss and opening kickoff to the color of the winning coach's bath of Gatorade and everything in between. You're betting on the color of the Gatorade that they're going to get doused in at the end of the game? Is it going to be orange this year? Is it going to be green?
Blue.
Purple? I don't know what. Nor am I suggesting that you seriously consider the Super Bowl indicator, which is what we were just talking about, the market's direction based on the game's outcome, hidden in plain sight. In plain sight, you guys can see this, and you should have figured this out. Hidden in plain sight of the Super Bowl for years now is an investment anomaly that might be worth betting on. Any company advertising during a Super Bowl within 7 years of its IPO is headed for trouble.
Well,
So,
they got it right last year. FTX.
well, of course they get it right. I mean, Arlene,
so
you think
funny.
about it. Why do you even remember who we advertised last year? Why do you even remember that?
Well, because I'm reading the.
You're a freak.
No, I'm reading an article.
Oh, you are? Okay.
from-
All right. I wanted to believe you were a freak. That was way more fun. No, but but seriously, you think about that. Now, number one, IPOs. Let me just talk about IPOs for a second. This is something you don't want in your investment portfolio anyway. In the first, research shows 9 months. An IPO is an initial public offering. Company first comes to market. They're trying to raise money. The person that runs the company right now, or the group that runs the company right now, they want to sell out to the public, or maybe they want to raise money for new operations. Maybe they got this little teeny operation and they got a great idea and they want to really balloon this thing. You know, we got this widget and we want to have monster distribution of our widget or whatever. So they come out with an IPO raising money by selling stock or ownership in the company, and you can be a part owner of this company. Well, the problem that you run into is when they do these IPOs, in the first 9 months that they're out there, they typically lose money because you get all this hype that comes around them. You know, like, where these people come out and they go, ooh, this is going to be great. This is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And people bid up the price. But we really have no data on what the company's going to make. So the first 9 months, they tend to lose money. Then after that, you know, it's hit and miss. It's okay to do it. But here's what they're saying. If it's an IPO and they advertise in the Super Bowl of the first years of them being out there, you're looking at a company that is going to hit the dirt. It's going to fall apart. Now, I want to know, went and researched every single company that had advertised. You had to, why is it not 6 years? Why is it not 7 years? Why is it not 8 years? They figured out when they actually crunched the numbers that they had something with 7 years, and that was the cutoff. And basically what happened is they figured out that that's it, and that made for a good article for Market Watch. Are you kidding me? That is sheer data mining if there ever was data mining. He says, I believe my indicator works best when ads are within 5 years of the IPO, but it holds with nearly all companies buying ads within 7 years. Maybe it's just if you spend a lot of money on the Super Bowl, that's part of it. That'll probably be part of what puts them in a bankruptcy. I mean, look how much money they spend on those things.
It's crazy.
It is insane.
But to those companies, it's worth it buying
Apparently
those
not.
ads because they have, just like FTX, it was worth the millions that they because they got a lot of money from the investors, and look what happened. It's bad for the investors, but good for the company.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
If you think about it, it's $7 million this year for a 30-second spot. They're estimating 110 million people around the world are going to watch that. That's a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Now, I only watch the Super Bowl for the commercials.
Yes, me too.
That's it.
Me too.
We're not taking out an ad on the Super Bowl.
No, I don't want to take an ad out of the Super Bowl. I'm saying, but $7 million for a 30-second spot.
I'm both.
I'm going to let Leviticus pay for it.
Exactly. You don't know I don't have some of those.
Yo, come on, man. You got some
advertisers.
zeros behind your name. All right.
Right.